Hello guys, the best realtor here with 5 tips to increase your credit score for a mortgage in 2026. First point is that stop all credit card inquiries within the 6 months of you buying a house. For instance, a new credit card inquiry to buy a car will increase your debt to income ratio. What that means is that before you buy a house, the lenders want to see that you have a higher income to your debt. So if you have a high debt to income ratio, that reduces the amount of money you qualify. Now point number 2 is this: focus on your debt to income ratio. What is debt to income ratio? This is the ratio of the amount of debt you have versus the income you have. So most lenders require you to have a debt to income ratio of 43%. For instance, your debts should not exceed 43% of your total income. If your debt exceeds 43% of your total income, you might be denied a loan for a mortgage. So you want to make sure that you keep your debt lower than 43%. When you do that, you increase your chances for you getting a loan. Remember, a higher credit score gets you the best rate for your house, but a higher income and a lower debt gets you the loan. So you want to focus more on having less debt overall, having a higher credit score with a lot of debt. Less debt, higher credit, you get the best loan amount. Remember, the higher the amount you get approved, the higher and the best options you have in the market, because you have a lot of money you can use to buy a house, which increases the options you have in the marketplace. You can buy a house anywhere you want because you have multiple options, as opposed to you qualifying for less, which means you have a limited options on the type of properties you can purchase. Point number 3, you want to make sure that you do not have any open collections or charge-offs. Having this can slow the process of underwriting when you are buying a house. You want to make sure that all open collections are disputed or they are paid off before you start buying a house. If you do this prior, we will have a smooth transition through the buying process. You want to pay attention to these details because this is what slows down the whole process of buying a house. If you do this to come to me, I guarantee you we will close on your house faster than fast. Point number 4. I've dealt with this so many times. Credit card utilization rate. So general credit requires you to spend less than 30% of your credit card limit. On the other hand, lenders prefer somebody who uses 10% and below if you want to buy a house. So you want to make sure you're spending less than 10% of your credit card limits. This will increase your credit score in the long run. Now, there's something I want to talk about called a Rapid Rescore. For most people, they come to me, we do the application, and they do not qualify for a mortgage immediately because they have a poor credit score. This comes because they have a huge debt or they have a debt that they have not paid. Now, what happens here is that we do not need to wait for 30 days for the information to reflect on your credit if you have paid down your debt. What we do is that we just need a letter from your lender, or we need a letter showing, or a receipt showing that you have made the payments. The loan officer will update your file with the credit bureaus for it to update your credit score, and then we will proceed and give you an approval how much you get to buy a house. So you want to make sure you spend 30% and below, but preferably for those who want to buy a house, spend 10% and below of your credit cards. It increases your chances for you to get qualified. Banks do not want needy people who just use money because they have access to it. Banks need people who don't need money. So last and not least, that make sure you pay your balances to zero every single month. Lenders prefers borrowers who pay their loan or their debt balances down to zero. They do not want you to be paying minimum balances only. Make sure you're paying your debt down to zero every single month. That increases your chances for you qualifying for a mortgage. Remember, I am the youngest and the best realtor here in Washington State. Whether you are an investor or you are just looking to buy your first home, I am the best realtor to contact here in Washington State. So make sure you give me a call and I will get you any type of deal you want. Any type of deal as long as it's within Washington State. Until then, see you guys in my next video. Make sure you comment, like, share my videos so we can grow together and educate our community so we can buy as much properties as we can. See you on the next one.